Hey, what's up, guys? Little man with a big opinion here. Today's video is going to go all the way back to my start in prepping, and it's for all of you out there who are under the age of 18. When I first started prepping, it was a very goofy idea, and it was because my entire family every week would sit down and watch The Walking Dead, and I told myself, I gotta stop the zombies. Um, it was also a fairly good show in, some of the scenes on how they survived in a post-apocalyptic society. But it's a really good motivator when you see, oh, you're doing this so right. And then you start doing something else, and it's like, okay, that's a pretty big red flag. Especially if you're doing something in season 2 and 3 that you stop doing, as the show goes on. But I can give it leeway because, the show's got to be entertaining. People have to die off, and there has to be, conflict throughout the group and different groups, because as long as they wouldn't have, pissed someone off when they were at the prison, they could have been there forever. And, in my opinion, a show that people enjoy watching would become very stale and boring if the last 5 seasons they'd been sitting at the prison. We watched Doomsday Preppers. I think it was a Discovery thing, and that's what got the whole thing started. So I can understand, being 12, 13, start watching The Walking Dead, uh, start having an interest in camping, being outdoors. You like firearms or knives, whatever. Um, I the culture for getting into prepping is out there. Um, I definitely would think it starts kind of in the fantasy realm or the science fiction realm. But what do you do with a limited budget, maybe unsupportive or semi-supportive parents? And what I did, and just some thoughts for you guys out there, some opinions. For one, I took every opportunity to go onto YouTube and watch and learn everything that I could. Um, YouTube was where, probably 15 years ago, I figured out if you took a 2 liter bottle, you know, 16-ounce bottle for scale, you cut the end off, you take a cheesecloth, put a rubber band or something on it, or a bandana, it doesn't have to be a cheesecloth, and you did charcoal, pebbles, and sand, then you can make a DIY water filter. I probably would have figured it out eventually, but YouTube has been a massive source. My channel is what I would definitely consider on the small side, and I have hundreds of videos. There are prepping channels with thousands of videos, and I would say there's easily 500 prepping channels with over 1,000 subscribers. So pick who you like to listen to. Most of them tend to have prepper in their name, unlike myself. Canadian prepper, urban prepper, city prepper, Alaskan I don't know if it's Alaskan Prepper or Alaskan Granny, uh, Magic Prepper. Uh, those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head. But there's probably more that I've watched videos from and just can't think of off the top of my head. And I don't have a list or a script or anything for this video. So find someone you like to watch and watch their content. Um, and most prepping channels, I'd say at least half their videos, every single person has done a video on that and shared like their, opinion. I also just thought of Viking Preparedness. I really like his work. And then Bear Independent, and he does some stuff with Survival Dispatch. Um, but find someone you enjoy. I've heard, a lot of stuff that comes out of Canadian Prepper can almost sound, generic, but he's got a big audience. It's like 600,000 subscribers. And so while the information may sound generic, he's getting a lot of information out to a lot of people. Whereas uh, Bear Independent, he's a lot more harsh in what he's, giving you. He's a lot more of a eat or be eaten kind of person. And I think he's taking what he's doing seriously. So, like I said, that's my opinion on these preppers. But if they're all doing a video on a bug out bag, watch 2 or 3 of them. And from that, you should have enough of a educated opinion to set up your own bug out bag. Some people prioritize weight and quantity of items. Some people say this is only enough supplies to get to my bug out location, so I want speed and lightweight equipment. But I've been talking about information a lot, but it's one of the easiest things you can do. Once you have gathered that information, if you have any type of budget to work with, don't spend it all on prepping. In the beginning, I would treat it like a hobby. Um, I got into airsofting at a really young age. I spent every dime that I got, and I didn't have anything for anything else. Got tired of airsoft, and spent a lot of money on stuff that I still have. So, in the beginning, I treat it like a hobby. If you purchase the right things, then you're not really going to be losing your money as long as they don't get, torn up or destroyed. Next, if your parents are supportive, they might increase your budget for this. Um, Items that I would buy in the beginning is like a backpack, a fire starter, a water filter, um, things that don't really have a shelf life, that some of the skills you're, learning how to do, you can actually implement. Like the fire starter. Start with a magnesium stick. If you want to go all the way down to flint and steel, you can. And then, like I'd say, have a lighter. You light the fire as fast as you can. If the lighter doesn't work, then you use the next fastest item. I can light a fire with flint and steel. It's not fun. And I'd rather use a lighter pretty quickly. On top of that, if you have a supportive family, then I would consider and try to get them involved in some of the activities. One of the easiest things you can do that is difficult to say no to in a supportive family is going camping. If your family's never gone camping before, it might take a while. Not getting them to say yes, but being able to buy all of the equipment to take a family out, it might be a stage process. But camping, you can implement the skills you're learning. You can make that 2 liter water filter that I talked about. Um, you're getting outdoors. You're telling your body this is what life's like without AC, and the bugs are everywhere, and water is important, and it's just a good thing to do. It gives something your entire family can do, and maybe it will convince mom and dad to consider 25, 50, $100 a week towards your hobby that becomes a family hobby. For semi-supportive or unsupportive parents, um, or it's difficult to say unsupportive. I'd say not interested and kind of neutral on the matter. Um, if you have any type of income, budget it, and get the items that you can do hands-on skills with. I wouldn't focus too heavily on food and water, partially because for your hobby or what you're turning into a lifestyle, um, you'd have to store all that stuff in your room. It might be an annoyance to the rest of the family. I'd wait till you get out to start doing that. But I would set up a bug out bag for everyone that's under 18, getting into prepping, that kind of thing. I've got a bug out bag video somewhere that I'll post in the description down below. But with a limited budget, if it takes you a whole school year to set it up, that's fine. You're going to want 3 days worth of food. I'd say 2-quart water bottles, some sort of shelter, some sort of extra clothing, and like a sleeping bag or a blanket or something like that. And then, a way to start a fire, emergency radio, flashlight. And after that, like I described earlier in the video, every prepper's made a video on probably 50% of what their entire channel is. And I would say a bug out bag is on every single prepper's channel. So look at what other people have done, look at the supplies they've purchased, and then make your decision on, do I spend $15 on this and it should last, continuous use, 6 months to a year, or do I hold off and get the $40 one that's got a lifetime warranty and, it's just built like a tank? Or going back, do I buy the $15 thing so I have this item right now and I'll use it and I'll practice with it, and when I get the money to buy the higher quality item, I'll do that. So there's a lot of back and forth, and especially at a young age, those decisions are going to be difficult. The next thing that I would say to people that are under the age of 18 is start exercising. If you're not in a sport, doing band, which only really covers the first half of the semester, the marching band side, then you should be exercising 3 to 5 times a week with 1 to 2 days of rest. I am not a health expert, and I don't I'm not a personal trainer, so I can't give you a specific workout routine. I can say with an educated opinion that You should have some cardio, and when you work your muscle groups, it's better to not work the same muscle group, the day before the next day. So it'll give different muscle groups time to rest, and it'll allow you to uh, exercise more often. So if you do, your arms one day, your legs the next day, then your back the next day, then your chest the next day, then your legs and your arms, you're not having to spend a lot of time resting. But every single person's different. Some people might look and have a nice physique working out once a day, but they can't run 3 miles. Just it's genetics. Some people could have 20% body fat, but they work out 6 days a week. So figure out a exercise routine that works for you and stick to it. If you've got to talk to a doctor, talk to a doctor with your parents and figure out what'll work for you. Next thing I would say is it's a hobby at this point. Unless your parents have been prepping, or when you start doing it, they take a strong interest and kind of take the lead. It's a hobby for you that can develop into a lifestyle. And take the information, take the money you're spending, the time you're spending on this with a grain of salt, and realize it's possibly not for everyone. I would recommend everyone, you know, follow my thoughts and opinions through the rest of my videos. But some people are content on spending their money in other places, spending their time in other things. And as long as nothing bad happens, they're fine. But I'm getting ready for a rainy day, and the information that I put out in my videos, I believe, will help other people get ready for that rainy day. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you have a friend or family member that would benefit from this information, maybe they have a kid just now getting into prepping, he doesn't quite understand it, point him towards this video, point his parents toward the video, and just point anyone towards the channel that you think would benefit from the information that I'm giving out. I'll catch you in the next one.